Alright guys, good morning. Today we're doing a second part of this incredible video that is resurfacing thanks to Incredibly Average. Go check his channel as well. It's really amazing that this stuff was already put together a few years ago. Incredibly Average posted this video on January 31, 2020. And now because of the trial, things are coming back, and some of us YouTubers are doing our best to spread the word, because somehow I believe that the right side is on Johnny's side. But anyway, let's go check this together. Yesterday we did the first part of this uncensored video. Let's go. This is an argument between the two.
Sorry.
You're getting all bunched up.
Sorry.
Amber appears to not know what Johnny is talking about, and after she explodes, Johnny tries to calm her before she gives several short, sharp, and what sound like feigned and taunting, coy apologies. She then suggests Johnny run away and have sex with Travis. Travis was a security member and someone who had testified to witnessing the incident in March of 2015 in which Amber threw things at Johnny, spit on him, and punched him in the face.
It's so fucking pointless, and you know.
I think it's probably the guy with the long beard, if I remember correctly. And again, you see over and over how she's always taunting him. Before we continue, I just want to make sure, because as a human being, I know those things where they go. When you start to see who is the perpetrator, we tend to kind of get a little hateful, spiteful towards the other person, in this case, her. I want just to say that my intent with this is not to create hatred, not at all. I wish that other person to be able to find their time to heal or to get help, that's for sure. But in those circumstances where you see who is the villain, you have to stand for what is right, because to my knowledge so far, this person has really freaking ruined her life, and most importantly, Johnny's life, you know?
To sit here and fight about fucking whatever you think happened with Travis. It wasn't a conversation.
Listen, I was not high.
I'm not going to.
You lied. You're an asshole.
You were fucking full of shit. What
Lied,
lie?
asshole.
When? What conversation did I have with Travis? Big investigative study you've done. I'm not sitting here and fighting with you about the fight that we had last night.
After you fucking got physically violent with me, I texted Travis. I said, come up here, because I didn't want anything to happen.
I mean, yeah.
It's coming to what? Save me?
No, go ahead. Continue. You Travis to the rescue.
No, that was the last one. Right. You can go, you go. That was the last insult.
Oh, yeah. You called me a liar, and yet.
I watched you lie.
You called me a liar?
I watched you lie. I heard it. I was right there.
There's no what? You still haven't told me what lie it is. But yet, every single fucking time. You know you do this every single fucking time.
We'll talk to Travis.
I'm not fucking talking to nobody.
No.
What an amazing audio. I know now we've learned that some of this audio cannot be played in court, also because, to my understanding, some audios which it's recorded without the knowledge of the other person cannot be used. I'm not exactly sure why some audios are used, but I'm definitely pissed off that especially her lawyers are using snippets of audio that is possible to play to incriminate Johnny, when the freaking 1 hour audio shows a complete different picture. Absolutely different picture.
You go fucking jerk him off. I don't care. Wow. I really could care less. It's you every single time. You latch onto some sort of thing when I already told you. I don't know what you're fucking talking about. You don't even know what you're talking about. You still haven't even told me what it is, but run with it.
I have told you what it is.
No, you haven't.
I said to Travis, I said to you, hey, tell Travis what just happened.
You told me to do it. You told me to. You said, go do that.
I said, no, tell him what just happened.
And I lied.
And that you punched me in the fucking thing, and you
figured
in
it
the face.
out.
And you said, no, I didn't. What the fuck are you talking about? And I watched you lie. And then I
didn't punch you, by the way. I'm sorry that I didn't hit you across the face in a proper slap, but I was hitting you. It was not punching you. Babe, you're not punched.
Don't tell me what it feels like to be punched.
You know, even a lot of fights have been around.
Oh my god, this is hysterical.
No, when you fucking have a closed fist.
You get punched. You got hit. I'm sorry I hit you like this, but I did not punch you. I did not fucking deck you. I fucking was hitting you.
I didn't fucking deck you. What do you want to do? Like knock him off? like unconscious. I mean, thank God she's not like 200 pounds or something. You know what I mean? Otherwise, this poor Johnny would have been just smashed to bits. Because I hear all the time like you're bigger and stronger, but the truth is actually Johnny's not it's not a big guy. It's not like, you know, like me, 6'3" and like 220 pounds. You know what I mean? Like it's just like probably, I don't know, 5'8" or something. Like she's taller than him or something.
I don't know what the motion of my actual hand was, but you're fine. I did not hurt you. I did not punch you. I was hitting you.
How are your toes?
What am I supposed to do? Do this?
How are your toes?
I'm not sitting here bitching about it, am I? You are.
Oh,
that's the difference between me and you. You're a fucking baby.
Because you start physical fights?
You're such a baby!
Because
Grow the fuck up,
Because you
Johnny.
start physical fights?
I did start a physical fight.
Yeah, you did, so I had to get the fuck out of there.
Yes, you did. So you did the right thing, the big thing. You know what? You are admirable. Every single time. What's your excuse? When there's not a physical fight, then what's the excuse there? You're still being admirable, right? Just by running away? And you can sit here and call me names, but you get called a name, and what do? That's the last insult. You're a baby. You're a hypocrite. You don't do anything that you actually do. You expect from people what you can't give them.
But this seems to be the day following the incident I covered in this video, in which Amber admitted in her 2016 deposition to pushing her way into the bathroom where Johnny was hiding from her, and in his attempts to keep her out, the door scraped her toes, and when he leaned down to check, she kicked the door into his head and punched him in the face. And holy cow, the admissions here. Amber claims she could never even question Johnny without him flying off the handle and beating her while she remained helpless, and here she's mocking him, calling him admirable for running away from the fight all the time, calling him a hypocrite and a baby, while he still remains the rational voice in the room. And I remember so many people telling me and saying, "You don't know what goes on behind closed doors." Well, anyway.
Apparently we do. And again, here I speculate. I'm not an expert, but again, it doesn't seem like very far-fetched to believe that her probably undiagnosed mental health issues are just driving this guy mad. You know, sometimes I see a lot of comments, it takes two to tango, and he's also a junkie. I disagree. I really disagree. You know, I've been around a lot of junkies, very close. I've seen people smoking crack, smoking heroin, doing coke. I've seen all of those things very, very close. I've seen also the effect that it has in my extended family. So, and I can tell you one thing, really, like violence and being a junkie, it's not two things that they go together. I've said this before. I've seen the most kind, sweet, broken people, unfortunately, being in that kind of spiral of death, of drugs. Luckily, I have to say also a good story. Luckily, things, you know, in my extended family are pretty good. So it is possible to heal. And so I disagree that, you know, Johnny definitely was going through a period of hardship, getting off prescription drugs or other things. He was on a path of trying to get better. But I can tell you something. If you get into a relationship for years with a toxic person that has her own or his own problems, you know, it can happen to both, then it's really not impossible to believe that whatever you're going through is going to get exacerbated by that toxic relationship, you know? And again, this is, and again, I'm not an expert, but to me it seems like textbook, like narcissist, again, with empath. The guy is just trying to solve his own issues of probably childhood traumas with his mother, and at the same time he's got, again, in a relationship, toxic relationship like this, and he tries to make sense of it. He tries to work it out. He tries to kind of understand, and it's going to take years to find out, shit, I was with a narcissist, I was with an abuser, and I'm pretty sure there's a lot of people on the audience here which they've been abused, which they'll find, they will probably feel similarly, you know, probably took them long time to find out how they were manipulated, the shame that they caused in them, and how long it takes to actually get out of it. And then you also have to process all the time afterwards of realizing like, oh fuck, you know, how did I manage to stay in that? So I pretty much believe that this relationship has been exacerbated by a person that had really disturbed deep issues unchecked, and this is what you get.
We rejoin them with Amber giving Johnny a Xanax, which I'm assuming is to perhaps make him more agreeable, but I don't know.
What are you doing with this?
I'm giving you a Xanax in case you need it.
Oh, thank you.
Seems like it's worn off.
Yeah, it probably has.
But I haven't even been able to have like a fight with you beyond
Why she wants to fight all the
in
time?
any real talking kind of speaking context in so long, because anytime anything goes wrong, you split. I feel like it's your first thing. And it's unnecessary. It's not always you're splitting because there's blows or because there's yelling or anything. You split most times when I'm still speaking in this volume and nothing has been thrown or hit or anything. I know I can change certain things that are hurting you.
Wow.
But I don't.
This is heartbreaking, actually, to listen to this.
Straight to the fucking finish.
I would agree that there were both people needing help, for sure. We agree on that. But different type of help, you know, like Johnny was only abusing himself and he was on a path of trying to get better. But she basically was going through whatever many mental issues that she has, and just wrecking things around her, you know, in her life. I think most likely Johnny was the best thing that happened to her, also to her career, if you think about that. And this is the sad part, that when you probably are like just a disturbed person, you know, that you just need professional help. You're just gonna destroy yourself and your relationship. That's what it is.
Line the first sign of stress yesterday because of how.
I mean, this woman has to probably consider herself lucky. And sorry if I stop more, but I'm offering more commentary today. I think she's lucky that met this guy, because if he ended up in a fucking relationship with a violent junkie, they would have probably killed each other already. Like, they would have killed each other.
It's been lately, like since Australia, and I've been on the road with you. I haven't been working. I don't know what else I could fucking do.
Since Australia, we've been on our honeymoon and we had a great time, other than the fact that we had a fight in the train, which was physical.
Wow, I didn't know this. I knew this from the British security guard, and when he says like either he smashed into a door or a door smashed into him. And again, you can see very clearly those pictures that he probably was abused right there by her, and he just smashed him. And compared to her pictures, which she's not swollen ever, like Johnny looks swollen, like exactly when you have a real freaking injury. Look at this. Look at that. He has like a swollen nose, has a swollen under the eye. Look at that. Wow. Doesn't even look like him. Look at that.
Then we had a fight in San Francisco.
He looked like Johnny from Wish.
But I thought
God
everything
damn
else
it.
was great. You're saying you've been pondering this since Australia.
No, the splitting.
Me splitting.
Like the lack of, you know, I even said this in Australia. I said I feel like it was so good for so long. We'd talk about things. Remember we were allowed to have fights then. Remember we allowed ourselves to say, hey, you did this, or you took. Remember we would even have a little argument and it was okay. It was an argument. I don't know what the fuck has changed. I can't figure it out. And I don't mean to criticize anything that you do, but it's so chronic with you, the changes in the personality. It's like sometimes you get these clear months and you're this different person and it's wonderful, you're this, and then sometimes I'm like struggling to stay connected with you, struggling to have 5 minutes with you, struggling to connect with you, struggling to have...
She's gaslighting him here, I'm pretty sure, because she knows she's recording him, and she's trying to direct the conversation where she wants. And I don't think she's making any sense. Probably what she's going on about is the fact that, yes, probably period is more sober and period where he's more high, and he just doesn't connect with her as much, probably because he wants to shut off. And what she's saying here is actually, it's negated by what she stated before, that Johnny leaves all the time. It really doesn't take a genius to understand that. Johnny is the type of guy that he gets into an argument, he doesn't want a drama, he gets away, he moves away. He's just not the guy that wants drama, that's it. And I totally understand it. And here you have her trying to manipulate the conversation, trying to bring it to the point where, like, she can use maybe this part of the clip saying, like, he was the monster sometime. This is not what it's going on here. This is not what it's going on.
My friendship with you, and I can't fight with you. It's like, but they're so chronic that I have to go, what the fuck has changed? What thing has changed?
She wants to fight.
Do you not remember how different?
She wants drama. She wants to fight all the time.
I allowed you to what?
And you were so present, and we were allowed to fight. We were not even fight. We had arguments.
We were allowed to fight.
I mean, you've given me this time here on the couch, and it's amazing that we can actually talk. But I never feel that safe. I constantly feel like you're about to fucking split, and I don't want to feel like that. You made me feel meaningless.
You threw me out of the room.
Yeah, why wouldn't I if I know that you're about to split? I mean, that's what I'm saying. You
wasn't about to split.
You always split, so that's... Why wouldn't... I mean, I do blame myself for my actions.
I was laying in bed watching television, man. I was laying in bed watching television.
I fucked up last night. I'm not going to defend myself.
I fucked up last night. I'm not going to go defend myself. Wow. Probably, first of all, because you can't. And again, to me, every time I hear this, it seems like she's more worried about Johnny finally realizing, I don't want none of this shit anymore, And then she basically, I think, was also diagnosed this by Dr. Curry, that histrionic people or borderline people with borderline disorder, they just can't handle being left, something like rejected or being left.
But I also can't.
Or they're constantly afraid of that.
Finish line, and that's always where you drive it.
Translation: I hit you because you make me do it. I'm not going to defend myself for hitting you again, but when I do, I'll say it's your fault for making me so angry.
Jesus.
But you're saying you thought you were sure I was going to split. But
always. I mean, that's just...
why would I split if I'm laying in the bed with you watching television?
Anytime I tell you that I'm unhappy with anything, and it's typically the same thing, anytime my voice is complaint, I'm not allowed to have a complaint. I'm not allowed to think anything wrong. I've told you this 1,000 times. 1,000 times.
Woman, why do you complain all the time? This is also like, what's the issue? I understand people that have to work things out in between a relationship. We're all human. Doesn't matter if you're worth 50 billions or like $50. Everybody's got to figure things out. We get that. But at the same time, what's the complaint? That is, I don't know. Now I want to be a little bit more biased toward Johnny. Like, he's letting you and your friend live rent-free in his freaking penthouse that he bought with all your friends and family.
Said this to you in calm fights. Baby, I don't feel like I'm allowed to just...
I wish I had a friend like Johnny.
The luxury of us just being normal human couples. Like, as soon as you get mad, you take off on a train. It's something because it's not... It's chemical. It's strong. No. It's one day you were different.
It's the same...
And it hasn't been back.
It's the same changes that are happening in you. It's exactly the same. Huh?
Everything wish that was the case.
That is the case.
I have always allowed you to fuck up and be a human. I've always been able to have a communication with you. The difference is you make it so we cannot even communicate at all if it's anything negative. You go, you take off on a train, you don't get off. You don't come back around. You don't honor when you say, I just want a few minutes or I want a little time, but I'll be back. You don't assuage the anxiety and the stress that gives me and makes things worse with me by saying, hey, We will.
It's all
Remember,
all
people
about
say,
her.
you have to say, I will be back in this amount of time, more or less, and then actually honor it. You have to come back. So I said, oh my God, if he could do that, that would be great. And you never do it. You know, you don't ever honor that. You leave me with way more anxiety, stress, anger, and resentment. But in Australia, for a few months, you were so...
So were you. It makes a difference. I wasn't being attacked.
I'm not. I have not attacked you any different. I haven't changed. I have not attacked you any different. I never attacked you. I never attack you. Just because I have a complaint with something you did is not an attack.
It becomes
baby.
verbally insulting. It becomes all kinds of shit. It becomes like.
Here we go. She already has lost her temper. This freaking guy is the voice of reason. I feel bad for her that she's recording this stuff and she doesn't even realize that even freaking Squirrel understand that she's really in great need of assistance and therapy and help to get her on the right track, to solve her problems of narcissism and sociopathism, if you can say like that. 100%. Like, it's so freaking clear that she needs help. And this guy is just, he has his own thing going, and at the same time he has to deal with that. Honestly, I really believe that this will be like affecting his drinking and stuff, 100%.
Right at the get-go, yeah.
See, that's the problem. If you see any criticism as a verbal assault, of course we have this problem. We're going to have it next time you do. God forbid I have a problem with something you do. We're going to be in this situation. Are you ready for it?
Say it nice, man.
What if I'm hurt? Am I not allowed to be hurt and be human? That's the thing. You're not allowing me to be human then. You take my humanity from me. You're telling me I'm not allowed to feel things and I'm not allowed to react because to protect you.
Last night happened because I was at Isaac's for too long. Next door.
It happened because we could not
And for what?
She needed attention.
For what? What did we gain from this fight? From me just... the horrible fucking act of me being over at Isaac's for just too long for you.
I did not cause this because you were at Isaac's. You lie to yourself. Go ahead. You're just lying.
Then why were you upset last night?
This did not happen because of Isaac's. This happened because we're fighting. This is not about Isaac's. We actually haven't really even talked about that. We spent 2 seconds on it because it's not about that. It's bigger than that. The point is I voiced a complaint. It could be anything. You could say, baby, you did something to hurt me. Which you did, and you admitted.
Why didn't you say that?
You admitted that you would feel that way too, and you said sorry for it. That
what is it?
Would have been great.
Look how she's manipulating the conversation here. Like, what is it? Don't leave it vague. It's always like this with this type of, people with narcissism. Like, they go around loops forever, but they're not saying anything, This could be exactly like little thing, like you promised me that you will take me to dinner, and you didn't, and that hurt me. And the guy probably meant up also saying like, yes, I'm sorry, I got spent too much time with the other guy in my other apartment that I bought, and he's a good friend or something, But this can be taken out of context. So that's why she only being clear, specific when she wants, and being very vague when it also serves her. Like, incredible. For me, there are already so many freaking red flags dealing with a person like this. For my way of existing, I will never have allowed a woman in my life with this many red flags. I had a person that I remember I was dating for. That was one of my first experience, let's say in this last 10 years, of somebody that I think it's quite a narcissist. And we were dating for already 3-4 months, already coming over, staying here, spending time together and so on and so forth. There were a lot of good things, but at the same time I noticed also that there were a lot of kind of not understanding stuff, And I remember I made a mistake of opening up at the time, and also telling her that I was going through a period of anxiety, that I was debilitated by my panic attacks, that my life became smaller because I wasn't driving much, I wasn't doing stuff like that, you know. And I remember the first argument, which was, I don't know how it came out, the first thing that wasn't, you know, according to her plan or whatever, she threw it in my face immediately, even making me feel ashamed that I was having panic attacks, and that, you know, like she didn't understand them, like making me feel like, you know, I was a small man, you know, and going on about like, why didn't I help her with her job, with her making whatever that other people volunteer for her, for instance, and why, because I had more of a life that I could stay home, work from home and whatever, that I managed my time differently, why didn't I give my time to her? This came up in the argument, and honest to God, my mouth just went to the floor. I was like, wow, this is freaking serious? Are you freaking real? Like, how soon do I owe you my time? You know? For why? Anyway, didn't go much longer ahead.
But I could not feel safe saying that to you because I knew that your reaction would very likely be a defensive explosion and an attack and freak out and get up and walk away and all this stuff. So I wanted to avoid it. So I took an Ambien to try and go to sleep without even having to speak to you about it, because I was really hurt that you fucking left me stranded. You didn't think about me. You didn't text me. All the things that you apologized for. You already apologized for it. Can you do me one small favor and not take it back?
I ain't taking it back.
Stop defending it, please. You
Wow.
already apologized for it. It meant a lot to me. Do me one favor today. Don't take that back. This isn't about Isaac, you know it.
She's just playing with his
This
mind.
isn't about Isaac, you know it. It is about us not allowing.
Is it about me showering?
No, it's about you not allowing me to have any problems with you, or be upset at you, or mad at you, or even hurt by you at all. You do not allow it.
If you could have just said in a kinder way, a nicer way, like, listen, I feel fucked over by what you fucking just did.
And you wouldn't freak out.
No, I would say fucking, what is it? Like what? And fucking too long at Isaac's. You said you wouldn't be that long or whatever. You shouldn't. I feel stranded. I felt fucking left. Whatever. What am I gonna fight with that? Why would I get mad at that?
Oh my God, the first thing you do is I don't have to text you, and all, I mean, you just it would be shitty. It would be a fight. It would be terrible. It would not be.
It was a fight.
Yeah, it was.
It was a fight. And
Most likely here we are talking of her wanting attention, and he probably didn't give it to her, and she's making this much drama out of it. You know, that's also why it's vague. And John is trying to understand. It's like, well, what was it? If you had told me what it was, you know, didn't that because I didn't text you, because you felt stranded, because like a gap of time passed too much, that you need this much attention every 5 hours or so. I didn't do it, and that caused you pain, feeling abandoned or something. So he's trying to understand, like, hey, if you had said it,
Then
it shouldn't have been. And so then the Isaac thing was the impetus, because that was a lot of what you said today. Was it?
it was the impetus, but it's just a small example of a bigger thing. You know, it's bigger.
Okay, so it's a bigger thing. It's coming from back in Australia.
No, it's like Australia. We were allowed to fight. You can't sit here and tell me I can't feel things and I can't voice them to you. If we say to each other, you can't get mad and you can't be hurt by the other, then we're living in a fucking motherfucking fairy tale.
wow, the thing that just, I'm gonna stop right here. The thing that just shocks me is the fact that this guy managed to convince himself to stay with her after the fight in Australia that he lost his finger. I mean, that's quite crazy, I have to say. I mean, probably didn't even realize how deep he was into her manipulations as an abused, which unfortunately that's what happens with abused people. you always try to kind of go back to her. You know, you're always trying to go back to him. You know, you're always trying to make sense of it, trying to see the good part of that person, and in doing so, you just keep being stuck where you are. Like, if you hear back to back those arguments, and then you realize probably the magnitude of that fight in Australia and what Johnny went through, that got like finger infection a couple of times, which honestly that could be like very, very scary. You can even lose a arm. You can even die, you know, from MRSA. So it's crazy that this guy is still being patient here, so incredibly patient and calm in listening to all her rants about nothing, it seems. You know, it's quite crazy. Anyway, guys, don't forget to go check Incredibly Average channel. Like, he's really has done a service for the truth, and we're doing our part to share this stuff. Share it, comment, and always spread love. All right? I talk to you later.